You guys, listen to how quiet the river is right now. It's so peaceful here in the morning. When it snows like this, the world just gets so quiet. I'm gonna go for a swim. I'm a little nervous to go in, honestly. It is very cold out here right now. Good morning, you guys, and welcome back to another video in my little corner of the world. Here in the mountains, we have been getting so much snow. This is the time of year where it feels like it always snows the heaviest. I love how cozy it is to be in a warm house, drinking tea, and looking out on a snowy, cold landscape. I love waking up in the dark and turning the lights on to find fresh new snow that had fallen the night before. And mostly I like how peaceful these weeks have been. There hasn't been anything urgent to do, and I find myself moving a lot slower these days. The winter definitely teaches us to slow down. It also teaches us patience. As much as I say I love the snow, I would also give anything for a warm, sunny day right now. But that time will come, and right now, all we can really do is just appreciate what we have. Appreciate where we are right now in our life. Good morning, you guys. I'm drinking a warm coffee. It is around 5 a.m. right now. I've been waking up around this time for the past couple of months just because I love the nighttime in the winter so much. The stars are so bright and the world is magical. It really is. And I think it's just the quietness that I like so much. It's so quiet, especially when it snows outside. There is like nothing better in life than a warm fire and a hot cup of tea. Oh, and it is just the most beautiful morning. It's around -5 degrees Fahrenheit right now. The other night it got down to -20, which is so cold, but the feeling of taking a deep breath of cold air, it's an indescribable feeling. It feels like my lungs are just being cleansed from the inside out. It's been an interesting couple of weeks here in the mountains. We had a crazy freeze where it got down to -20 Fahrenheit, which is absolutely nuts, you guys. I don't think I've ever experienced that kind of cold before in my life. All of our pipes froze in the house, even though I spent a lot of time this fall wrapping up every single pipe with heat tape. I think the most important thing about surviving and thriving in winter is to stay on top of things in the kitchen. For me, that means always having something fermenting, soaking, or just like being prepped. At this point in the year, we're really limiting how much we're going to town. Now that the roads are covered in ice and snow, it actually took us almost 2 hours to get to town the other day, you guys, which is like 4 hours in total of driving. So yeah, it's really important for me to stay on top of my sourdough and bread because let me tell you, bread and soup has gotten us through this winter. I probably make a soup 3 times per week, and then oftentimes on the other days, we're just eating leftover soup. It's just the easiest and like most nourishing thing in my opinion. And a lot of soup ingredients like carrots, onion, potatoes, garlic stay good for a long while in the fridge and pantry. So it's just something I can always rely on making. In this valley, there is so many apple farmers. I was gifted these apples a couple of weeks ago by a farmer friend of mine. I was gonna make apple butter with them, but decided instead to press it into cider. I think fresh pressed apple cider is my favorite taste of all time. If you guys have ever had fresh apple cider, you know what I'm talking about. It is seriously so good. I cannot explain the taste. It's like drinking candy, basically. So this is the loaf of bread I shaped earlier, and tonight we had this with a white bean mushroom stew. Also, I heated up some of the apple cider with cinnamon and orange, and oh my gosh, wow, best thing ever. So instead of buying new clothes this year, my plan is to sew all the clothes that I need for the year. So right now I am working on some things that I'll want in the spring when the weather starts to get warmer. Last week I made a long sleeved dress and an apron. This week I think I'm going to make a short sleeve dress, and then I want the dress to be a little bit shorter, like just below the knee. I also really wanted to try adding buttons to a dress, so I searched on Pinterest for some inspiration and found like almost exactly what I was imagining. I really want all these dresses to look super old-timey, like maybe you found them in your grandma's closet. I was really excited to start this project, you guys, because I found this fabric at the store the other day and seriously fell in love with it. It's 100% cotton and it was on sale for only $5 a yard. I bought 4 yards, which means I only spent $20 on the fabric for this dress. And then the dress that I found on Pinterest that I'm trying to copy literally said the price was $245. And that was even the sale price, which is crazy. So if I can make a similar dress to that one, I will feel very proud of myself. This week, it was snowing so much here, and I cannot explain how cozy it was in my little art studio working on this sewing project and watching the snow fall outside. Watching snowfall in general is just so peaceful, and it's been nice to have projects like these to keep me inspired during these very cold winter months. Okay, so I really quickly want to talk to you guys about the sponsor of this video. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and much less intimidating for a lot of people. BetterHelp lets you have sessions as a phone call, as a video call, or even messaging, whatever's the most comfortable form of therapy for you. BetterHelp can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire that will ask you questions about what challenges you're going through, and then BetterHelp can match you to a therapist that will help you. You'll be matched to a therapist in most cases within 48 hours. You can schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. If you feel like your therapist isn't a great fit, you can switch therapists at no additional cost with just the click of a button. Join over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp and start living a healthier, happier life today. You can click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Isabel. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. I ended up having to redo the top just because, I don't know, it just didn't fit right, and I had to redo the pattern on that one, but this is basically me finishing the top and then the skirt as well. So this afternoon, a couple of friends are coming over for coffee, so I decided to make this like cinnamon roll star bread. I had this dough fermenting all night, and now I'm just shaping it into the star. I've been trying to think of different things to make using very limited ingredients. This time of year can be a little uninspiring when it comes to food, just because not much is in season and I can't really go to town very easily. This turned out really yummy. I will leave the recipe to this bread in the description if you guys want to try making this. Also, I'm so surprised by how much this rose just because I used 100% home milled flour in this recipe. When I first got my mill, I was a little bit unsure of what to make with the flour that I was milling, just because it is pretty dense whole wheat flour that you mill yourself. And most recipes call for all-purpose flour, but yeah, you can make your own all-purpose flour and it works super well. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how versatile a mill is to have. So since we have no water in the house, I am refilling like big containers and pots of water that I leave on the stove to warm up. And then I'll just put those big pots of warm water in the sink and use that for dishes. I'll put soap in one of the pots, so one will just be kind of like scrubbing and cleaning the dish, and then the other is like rinsing it clean. Also, a couple of days ago, I ran out of all-purpose flour, and I won't be going to town probably for another week. So in the meantime, I am making my own all-purpose flour. Basically, I just mill the whole wheat berries. I am using einkorn berries, but you can just use any kind of wheat berry. And then you just want to sift it to remove all the bran. I actually ended up sifting this flour twice through my double layered sifter. This will give you something that closely resembles all-purpose flour. I would consider it more of like a whole wheat all-purpose flour, but it works really well for baked goods. So right now I am making a batch of kombucha. I've been trying to grow this SCOBY stronger and get back into the habit of making kombucha just because it is so nice to have like a cold fermented drink in the fridge just at any time. Oh, it just makes life better, honestly. So this is the time of year when I start to feel a little bit stir crazy. And I'm honestly so grateful for past Isabel for planning a couple of trips in February, because it feels like I am literally counting down the days until I leave. Don't get me wrong, I do love it here. And I love the winter, I love the snow, but living in such a small space, as I've talked about before, seriously makes me go a little bit crazy. It's just honestly such a claustrophobic feeling, and I just need to get out of here as soon as I can. So tonight I am making a soup that my grandma taught me to make. It's so yummy, you guys. You can get this recipe in my latest cookbook if you want it. I also made the best batch of focaccia bread I think I've ever made. I added so much water to the bread, you guys. It was like 90% hydration. I also left it in the fridge for 24 hours to proof. Wow, I love this kind of bread. Honestly, I love Italian food in general. Logan is Italian, and I'm always trying to convince him to move to Italy with me. I really want to live in a place where people appreciate food as much as me. I've seriously considered moving there, but it would be hard to leave the rest of my family. Okay, so this is the bread that I made yesterday. You guys watched me mill the flour for it. And now I'm just shaping it into its final shape. I am going to make sourdough donuts with this dough. As much as I love living in the middle of nowhere, I am starting to really contemplate the idea of moving closer to a city and starting a bakery. I am aching to do this, you guys. The fact that I talked about this idea almost a year ago in a video, and I'm still really inspired by it, means that I should probably just go for it. The only thing holding me back is just like the initial money investment kind of scares me a bit. And I'd probably have to take out a loan, which also really scares me. I don't know. Okay, so it is about a week later and I am bottling up this kombucha for its second ferment. And then I'm going to add some of the apple cider I pressed to make an apple kombucha. I'll leave this on the table for its secondary ferment for around 2 to 3 days. Also, I'm really praying and hoping this doesn't explode on me. It's happened many, many times before. I remember a cider of me and my brothers. It exploded so bad, we had to scrub down the ceiling. Like, it got on the ceiling. Okay. I think I just finished this dress. I'm so excited. So I'm honestly really happy with how this dress turned out. As hard as it was to do, I absolutely love the buttons. I will tell you, those buttons took me way too long, like so many hours, but yeah, I really love how this dress turned out. I'm excited to wear it in the spring. The sun is setting right now and the world is just so beautiful. It really is. Once we let go of the expectation that the future will be better than now, and we realize that right now is the only thing that really exists, the only moment that we have is right now. The only real thing really is what you're experiencing right now in your life. The future doesn't exist, and it probably won't happen the way that you want it to, and the past doesn't exist anymore. And I think that the moment that we let go of where we feel we should be, the expectations we have for our life, and really just this feeling that something needs to change in order for you to be happy, once we let that go, we let go of so much suffering. Honestly, there has been so many years that I have spent dreaming of living in a proper house, dreaming of having a normal life, a normal bathroom, and feeling like, oh, my life will just be so much better when I have that, or if I ever get it. But the reality is who knows? Maybe I won't be happier in that future version of me. You know what I mean? And even when I think back to myself, when I was living in the city and working a service industry job, I had this idea that, oh, well, once I saved enough money to build a little tiny house in the mountains, and once I'm living there, then I'll really be happy. And you know what's funny about that is once I got that, I kind of just moved on to the next thing. I moved on to, oh, well, gosh, it's really hard living in a tiny house. I'm struggling a lot. It would be nice to have a little bit more space. It would be nice to have a bathroom, you know? And I feel like our mind does that. It tries to make up excuses as to why we're not happy right now. And once we let go of all those expectations, our suffering just vanishes. And we realize all that we really have is this moment here, right now. You're never gonna get this time back. You're never gonna get this era of your life back. So all we can really do is appreciate right now. That's all we can do. And so I've just been really trying to appreciate this winter. I really have been. And it's been really beautiful, honestly. It's been really beautiful. I feel like for the first time maybe in my life, I'm finally just like settling into just living in the moment and not living for the future. Anyways, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next week. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye-bye.